They thought it was just a quiet night out. But when TaylorSwift and Travis Kelce slipped through the back door of an elite NYC restaurant, they walked straight into something far more explosive, a covert meeting, a high-stakes deal, and a power move that could upend everything. Why were they really there? Who was waiting for them? And what hidden agenda were they about to be dragged into? From late-night getaways to chilling warnings in Utah, the deeper you dig, the wilder this story gets. Stay tuned, because once the final twist drops, there's no going back. Chapter 1. The Backdoor Deal. Nobody saw them walk in. That was the point. TaylorSwift and Travis Kelce didn't do backdoors. Not usually. But tonight wasn't about flashing cameras or screaming fans. It wasn't about them at all. It was about the man in the corner booth. Frisco's Grille wasn't their usual spot. Too low profile, too quiet. The kind of place where deals were made, the kind that never made headlines. Taylor adjusted her blazer, her burgundy heels clicking against the polished floor as she hooked her arm through Travis' elbow. He was tense. For a guy who bulldozed 300-pound linemen for a living, he looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. I don't like this, he muttered. Taylor's voice barely moved. You think I do? The man waiting for them looked like he belonged here. Effortlessly polished, disturbingly composed. Mid-50s, expensive suit, slick-back hair. A glass of bourbon sat untouched in front of him. He smiled, but it never reached his eyes. Sit. Taylor hesitated, then slid into the booth. Travis followed, his broad frame too big for the setting. The man reached into his jacket. Travis tensed. A pause. Then, just a leather envelope, placed carefully on the table. This, the man said, tapping it twice, is an opportunity. Taylor didn't move. Travis leaned forward. Who the hell are you? The man smirked. Call me Vincent. The name meant nothing. The tone? That meant everything. This wasn't a fan. This wasn't some billionaire looking for a selfie. This was something else. Vincent slid the envelope closer. Inside is a key. Where it leads, that depends on how smart you are. Taylor narrowed her eyes. We're not interested. Vincent chuckled. Oh, you haven't even heard the offer. Travis folded his arms. Then start talking. Vincent tilted his head, watching them like chess pieces, not people. You've both been in this game long enough. You know how things work at the top. Who gets the calls? Who breaks the records? Who wins? He tapped the table. It's not luck. Taylor exhaled sharply. You're saying my career's been rigged? That Travis Super Bowl rings were handed to him. Vincent smiled. Not exactly, but close. Travis shook his head. You're out of your damn mind. Vincent leaned in. Am I? Think about it. Every time something big is on the line, who's really pulling the strings? Silence. Taylor glanced at the envelope. She wasn't stupid. She knew how the world worked. The whispers, the quiet deals, the invisible hands tipping the scales. But this? Her voice was low. What do you want? Vincent finally took a sip of his bourbon. Then, almost lazily, a favor. One day? No questions. Taylor stared. And if we say no? Vincent smiled again. The kind of smile that said, you won't. Then he slid a phone across the table. A single text flashed on the screen. An address. A time. 1 week from now. Then the screen went black. Travis pushed back his chair. We're done. Vincent nodded. Of course. No threats. No pressure. Just certainty. Taylor grabbed Travis' hand, pulling him toward the back exit. Cold air hit her like a slap. Travis exhaled hard. Hey, tell me we're not. We're not, she said quickly. Forget it happened. But they wouldn't. Because deep down, she knew the truth. They weren't done. Not even close. Chapter 2. The offer they can't refuse. Travis slammed the SUV door hard enough to rattle the frame. His pulse was still racing. His jaw clenched so tight it ached. That was some straight-up mobster sh*T, he muttered. Taylor didn't answer. She just stared out the window, watching the city lights smear into streaks of gold and white. Her mind was already 10 steps ahead, trying to calculate the angles. A favor. 1 day. No questions. It sounded simple. But nothing about tonight was simple. Travis ran a hand down his face. Hey, we're not actually considering. No, she cut in. Too fast. Silence thickened between them. Travis turned, watching her. He knew that look, the same one she got before every big decision. Focused. Calculating. Already working the problem before she admitted there was one. Hey. His voice dropped. Don't. She exhaled, finally looking at him. We don't even know what it is. That's exactly why we should walk. Her fingers tapped against her knee. What if we can't? His stomach tightened. What do you mean? She hesitated, then reached into her blazer, pulling out the burner phone Vincent had left on the table. Travis tensed. Tell me you didn't. She turned the screen toward him. The original message? Gone. The address, the time, everything erased. In its place, a single new text. We'll be in touch. Travis stared, then let out a slow, measured breath. Nope. Nope. Hell no. He reached for the phone, but Taylor pulled it back. Travis, think. If we don't show, what happens? This guy knew where we'd be. He set that whole thing up. You think he doesn't have a backup plan? His fist curled. And you think playing along is the answer? I think we need to know what game we're in before we start making moves. That was what scared him the most. Because Taylor didn't lose games. And if she was already thinking like this, it meant part of her had already decided, whether she wanted to admit it or not. Travis leaned his head back against the seat, exhaling sharply. This is how people end up on Dateline. She almost laughed. Almost. Instead, she locked the phone and slipped it into her pocket. A week passed. No calls. No texts. No Vincent. For a second, just a second, Travis thought maybe this was over. Some power move that wouldn't go anywhere. Then, the night before the meeting, he found an envelope in his locker. No postage. No name. Just sitting there like it belonged. Inside, a single photo. Him and Taylor. Not at the restaurant. Not some paparazzi long lens garbage. No, this was different. It was them at home. Curtains open. Fireplace lit. Alone. Travis' stomach turned. He didn't even think. He grabbed his phone and dialed. Taylor picked up on the second ring. Hey, we're going, he said. Silence. Then, quieter. I know. The meeting wasn't in a restaurant this time. It wasn't in public. It was in a penthouse. The kind that didn't show up on Zillow. The kind where billionaires and power brokers made the calls that shaped industries, elections, entire careers. A man in a black suit escorted them through the private elevator. No small talk. No names. Just a quick pat down to make sure they weren't carrying. Then the door slid open. Vincent was already inside, smiling, like he knew they'd come, like he never doubted it. Glad you made it, he said, motioning for them to sit. Travis didn't move. You crossed a line. Vincent didn't even blink. I cross a lot of lines, Travis. That's why I win. Taylor sat down first. Not because she was comfortable, because she needed control. Sitting meant she was leading the conversation. She folded her hands. Met Vincent's gaze. Tell us what you want. Vincent took his time pouring himself a drink. Scotch, neat. Then he slid another envelope across the table. This, he said, is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Taylor didn't touch it. You already said that. Vincent chuckled. This one's bigger. Travis grabbed the envelope before she could. Tore it open. His stomach dropped. Inside was a photo. A surveillance shot. Time-stamped. Black and white. Grainy, but real. Taylor frowned. Who is this? Vincent sipped his drink. Set it down with a quiet clink. That, he said, is the man you'll be meeting tomorrow. Travis shoved the photo back. Never seen him before in my life. Vincent nodded. You will. Taylor's fingers curled slightly. What do you want us to do? Vincent smiled. Just have a conversation. Silence. Travis leaned in, voice low. And if we don't? Vincent's smile never wavered. Instead, he pulled out another photo. This one wasn't black and white. It was full color. Bright. Crisp. And it was of Taylor's parents. Sitting outside a cafe in Nashville. Laughing. Drinking coffee. Completely unaware they were being watched. Taylor's blood ran cold. Vincent tapped the photo once. We'll be in touch. They didn't speak as they left. Didn't breathe until they were back in the SUV, doors locked behind them. Then finally, Travis turned to Taylor. We are so ****ing screwed. Chapter 3, A Midnight Escape. The SUV glided through Manhattan's empty streets, but inside, it felt like they weren't moving at all. Travis hadn't spoken. Not really. Just the occasional curse under his breath, a restless hand raking through his hair, his knee bouncing like a ticking time bomb. Taylor, on the other hand, was motionless, staring at the photo Vincent had left on the table. Her parents. The message was clear. This wasn't just about them anymore. Travis finally snapped. Tell me we're not doing this. Taylor didn't answer. Hey. His voice was sharper now. We walk into that meeting, we're in. No backing out, no playing dumb. You know that, right? She exhaled slowly. I know. His jaw flexed. Then let's run. Taylor turned, locking eyes with him. And go where? He didn't have an answer. They both knew the truth. There was no out. Not one that didn't come with consequences. Then, her phone buzzed. A single text from an unknown number. Your driver will take you where you need to go. Don't ask questions. Travis read over her shoulder, then glanced at the rearview mirror. The driver's expression didn't change. Hands steady, eyes locked on the road. Taylor's stomach twisted. Pull over. The driver didn't react. Travis leaned forward. Hey, pull the car over. Nothing. Then, the locks clicked. Taylor's breath caught. Travis. I see it. The driver didn't flinch. Travis moved first. He yanked the door handle, jammed. Pounded his fist against the window, thick, reinforced. Taylor's fingers flew across her phone screen. No signal. Travis wasn't waiting. He braced himself and threw his full weight into the partition. The entire SUV shook. The glass cracked, but didn't break. Still, the driver didn't react. Taylor's pulse was a hammer against her ribs. Travis. One more hit, he muttered, drawing back his fist. One more. The SUV screeched to a stop. Taylor lurched forward, catching herself against the seat. Travis slammed into the door, cursing under his breath. Then, silence. The locks clicked open. The driver finally spoke. You're here. A chill slithered down Taylor's spine. Travis flexed his fingers, staring at the spiderweb of cracks in the partition. His breathing was heavy, like he was weighing whether to finish the job. Taylor swallowed hard and looked out the window. They weren't in Manhattan anymore. No streetlights. No traffic. Just a massive industrial complex swallowed in darkness. The kind of place where people disappeared. Travis leaned toward the driver. Where the hell is here? No response. Taylor exhaled sharply. Let's go. Travis turned to her, disbelief flashing across his face. You're joking. We don't have a choice. She was already reaching for the door. Travis grabbed her wrist, his grip firm but careful, just enough to make her look at him. His voice dropped. Hey, listen to me. This is the moment where people make the wrong call, where they go inside and they never come back out. Taylor didn't blink. Then let's make sure we do. She pulled free and stepped out of the car. The air was sharp, cold, heavy with the scent of metal and gasoline. A single overhead light flickered above the warehouse entrance. The door was already open. Travis exhaled, shaking his head. God damn it. Then he followed her inside. The warehouse was nearly empty. No crates, no equipment, just a single table in the center of the space. Vincent was waiting, and this time, he wasn't alone. The man from the surveillance photo stood beside him, hands in his pockets. Face unreadable. Late 40s, maybe early 50s. Sharp suit. The kind of presence that didn't need an introduction, because he was the kind of person who was never supposed to be seen at all. Vincent smiled. Glad you made it. Taylor's voice was ice. You made sure we would. Vincent chuckled. Fair point. Travis crossed his arms. Who's your friend? The man spoke before Vincent could. His voice was smooth, controlled. Too controlled. My name isn't important, he said. But what I represent. That is. Taylor's stomach nodded. Vincent motioned toward the table. Sit. Neither of them moved. Vincent sighed, then reached into his jacket. Travis tensed. But it wasn't a gun. It was a folder. Thick. Stuffed with documents, photos, things neither of them could see from where they stood. Vincent slid it across the table. Then he leaned forward, eyes gleaming. This, he said, is everything you thought you knew about your careers, rewritten. Silence. Taylor's throat felt tight. What does that mean? Vincent tapped the folder. It means if you open this, you'll never see the world the same way again. Taylor's hands curled into fists. Travis inhaled sharply. And if we don't? Vincent's smile widened. Then you'll always wonder. The warehouse felt smaller now. Colder. Taylor's pulse pounded in her ears. Travis exhaled. Hey. But she was already reaching for the folder. Chapter 4. The Kansas City cover-up. The folder sat between them like a loaded gun. Taylor had flipped it open the second they got back to their place in Kansas City. Her hands were steady, but she felt anything but Travis. He hadn't even sat down. He was pacing, jaw tight, hands braced on his hips like he was trying to hold himself together. His breathing was slow, controlled, the way it always was before a big hit. You realize what this is, right? His voice was low, edged with something dangerous. Taylor didn't look up. Yeah. No, I don't think you do. His hands ran through his hair before dropping to his sides. This isn't some industry secret, Tay. This is bigger. She flipped another page. Headline clippings. Internal emails. Transcripts of conversations that should have never been recorded. Things no one outside the highest levels of power should even know existed. And at the center of it all, them. Every major moment in their careers, her record-breaking albums, his Super Bowl wins, laid out like a blueprint. Not chance. Not talent. A system. Taylor swallowed hard. They didn't make us. Travis turned, eyes dark. Didn't they? She kept scanning, looking for holes, something to prove that this was just coincidence, just paranoia. But it was all there. Blocked calls from unknown numbers before her biggest award wins. Untraceable betting shifts before Travis' biggest games. Interviews, schedules, endorsements, all lining up too perfectly. Her voice was quieter now. Why show us this? Travis shook his head. That's what's messing me up. They don't show you the playbook unless they want you in the game. Taylor's fingers tapped the page, her mind already racing. Or unless they already know we're in. Silence. Then, her phone buzzed. A single text. Unknown number. Stay quiet. Stay still. Or everything burns. Her stomach twisted. Travis checked his own phone. Same message. Same threat. He let out a humorless laugh. Of course they know we're looking. That's the whole point. He moved to the window, yanking the blinds shut. No hesitation, no dramatics, just instinct. This is how it starts, he muttered. First it's the warnings. Then the accidents. Then one day, people just stop asking where you went. Taylor gripped the folder tighter. Then let's not give them the chance. Travis turned. Meaning what? She lifted the papers. They're using this to control us. But if we flip it, if we turn the story around. His eyes narrowed. You want to go public? Taylor's heart pounded. I want to make sure we don't spend the rest of our lives running. Travis exhaled. His shoulders dropped slightly, like the weight of this whole thing had just settled even deeper. Then, his phone buzzed again. But this time, it wasn't a warning. It was a photo. Of them. Right now. Sitting in their own living room. Taken from outside. Travis dropped his phone on the table, his pulse hammering. We need to move. Taylor didn't argue. She was already grabbing her bag. Within minutes, they were in his truck, tearing down the empty Kansas City streets, adrenaline spiking with every turn. Taylor turned to him, voice steady but sharp. Where are we going? Travis gripped the wheel. Somewhere they don't expect. Taylor's phone buzzed again. One final message. Unknown number. You have no idea what you're up against. She stared at the screen, then locked it. No, she muttered. But we're about to find out. Chapter 5. The Utah Connection. The truck chewed through the miles, slicing into the night like a bullet. The glow of the city had long disappeared, replaced by the endless stretch of highway and the kind of silence that made everything feel too big, too exposed. No cameras, no crowds, no flashing lights, just the hum of the engine and the weight of what they'd left behind. Travis kept both hands locked on the wheel, his eyes straight ahead. He'd taken hits before, hard ones, but nothing had ever knocked the air out of him like this. Taylor sat beside him, scrolling through her phone, her brain running at full speed. She wasn't built to panic, she was built to process. Always looking for patterns, for the detail no one else saw until it was too late. Neither of them talked much. Because what was there to say? They were running. But from what? From who? And how the hell do you fight something you can't even see? Travis finally broke the silence. Tell me you've got a plan. Taylor exhaled. Not yet. That's comforting. I said not yet. Not never. He glanced at her, then back at the road. You think they're tracking us? She held up her phone. Burner. Left mine back at the house. He nodded. Good. Didn't mean they weren't being followed. They drove straight through the night, only stopping for gas, swapping out credit cards to stay off the grid. By the time they crossed into Utah, the sky was bleeding into soft shades of purple and blue, the crisp mountain air cutting through the cracked window. Taylor finally spoke again. Park City. Travis frowned. What about it? The guy Vincent wanted us to meet, the one in the photo? I ran his name through some backdoor searches before we left. She turned the screen toward him. Guess where he owns property? Travis glanced at the image. A luxury estate buried in the Utah mountains. Private. Secluded. Perfect for someone who didn't want to be found. He let out a slow breath. So we're driving toward him now. Taylor locked her phone. We need answers. Travis didn't like it, but he liked running blind even less. So he drove. Underscore, underscore, underscore. Park City looked like a damn postcard. Fresh snow, quiet streets, mountain peaks towering in the distance. But something felt off. Too still, too watched. Travis pulled the truck into a small lodge parking lot. Taylor was already pulling on a beanie, keeping her head low as they stepped out. Inside, the place was mostly empty. A fire crackled in the stone fireplace, the scent of fresh coffee curling through the air. They took a table near the back, facing the entrance. Travis leaned forward. Now what? Taylor sipped her coffee, then nodded toward the bar. Guy in the leather jacket. Third stool from the left. Travis turned casually. A man sat alone, pretending to nurse a drink. But he barely touched it. His jacket was too clean. Taylor continued. Saw him at the gas station in Colorado. And again 2 hours ago at a rest stop. Travis clenched his jaw. We're being tailed. Taylor nodded once. They sat in silence for a beat. Then, without looking up, she murmured, Think he's alone? Travis didn't answer. Because at that exact moment, the door opened, and another man walked in. Same build. Same too clean jacket. And he wasn't here for coffee. Taylor set her cup down. Time to go. Travis was already moving. They didn't run. Running made people chase. Instead, they walked fast, slipping out the side exit, ducking behind the building before either man could react. Taylor grabbed Travis' arm. Truck's too obvious. He swore under his breath, scanning the lot. A row of rental SUVs sat a few yards away. Bingo. Travis yanked open the nearest one, hot-wired it in under a minute. Taylor slid into the passenger seat, eyebrows raised. Where'd you learn that? He threw it in drive. College. She smirked. Barely. In the mirror, she watched the two men step outside, scanning the lot. Looking. Then, one of them pulled out a phone. Taylor's stomach sank. They're calling it in. Travis pressed harder on the gas. This wasn't over. Not even close. Chapter 6. The NYC Showdown. New York felt different now. Taylor had spent years in this city, writing, recording, disappearing into crowds when she needed to breathe. It had always been hers in a way no other place was. But now it felt watched. They had barely made it out of Utah. The men in the leather jackets? Not amateurs. The way they moved, the way they tracked without making it obvious, it wasn't intimidation. It was tactical, precise. Someone had put serious money into keeping them under control. And now they were back where it all started. Frisco's Grille. Not through the back door this time. Not hiding. They walked straight in. Heads turned. Of course they did. The usual Manhattan crowd, suits pretending not to care, influencers sneaking not-so-subtle photos. But Taylor wasn't looking at them. She was looking at the corner booth. Vincent was waiting. Same smirk. Same too relaxed posture. Like he'd already won. Taylor slid into the booth. Travis didn't sit. Vincent gestured toward the seat across from him. No need for dramatics, big guy. Travis didn't move. Vincent sighed. Fine. Stand. But at least pretend like you don't want to punch me in the throat. Travis gritted his teeth. Who the hell were those guys in Utah? Vincent took a slow sip of his drink. Unbothered. Associates. Bullshit. Vincent set his glass down, his expression shifting just slightly. Let's get something straight. You don't ask questions. You listen. Taylor's pulse was steady, but her fingers curled under the table. Then start talking. Vincent reached into his jacket. Travis tensed. Another envelope. Vincent slid it across the table, tapping it once. Inside, you'll find your next move. Taylor didn't touch it. Not how this works. You don't hand us breadcrumbs and expect us to follow. Vincent smirked. That's exactly how this works. Silence. Then Taylor reached into her jacket. Not for an envelope. For a phone. Vincent's smirk vanished. Taylor leaned forward, placing the phone between them. You're not the only one who can play the game. Travis crossed his arms, smirking now. You should answer that. Vincent's jaw twitched. He picked up the phone, pressed play, and froze. Because the audio playing through the speaker? His voice. And not just any conversation, Utah. Every threat. Every order. Every move he'd made to keep them in line. Vincent's grip on the phone tightened. Where did you get this? Taylor smiled. Oh, we've been busy. Travis leaned in. Here's how this is gonna go. You leave us alone. You tell your guys to stand down. And in return, he shrugged. This recording stays private. Vincent exhaled slowly. And if I say no? Taylor's smile didn't waver. Then we make sure every journalist, every social media account, and every damn platform on the internet hears exactly what kind of game you're playing. Vincent stared at them. Then he laughed. Low, amused, unbothered. And that's when Taylor felt it. The shift. Vincent leaned forward, his eyes locked onto hers. You really think you're the first people to try to outplay me? A chill ran down her spine. Vincent glanced at the phone. Nice trick. But here's the thing. You don't win this game by being right. You win by being untouchable. Taylor's mouth went dry, because she understood exactly what he meant. This wasn't about evidence. It was about power. Vincent leaned back, completely relaxed again. So go ahead. Drop your little recording. See what happens. See how fast it gets buried. See how quickly people forget. Taylor didn't blink. We don't need people to remember. We just need them to see it. Vincent tilted his head. And then what? She let the question hang in the air. Because the truth? She didn't know. Not yet. But she knew one thing. This wasn't over. Not even close. Chapter 7. The Playbook. The city buzzed around them, but inside the black SUV slicing through Manhattan, everything was silent. Taylor stared out the window, her mind spinning. Vincent had called their bluff. He didn't care about the recording. Didn't care about exposure. Because he knew something they didn't. Travis sat beside her, arms crossed, jaw tight. The tension between them was sharp. Not fear, not anger. Just the weight of knowing they were in deeper than they ever meant to be. Finally, he spoke. What now? Taylor didn't look at him. We find out what he's not telling us. Travis exhaled through his nose. And how do you plan on doing that? He's not exactly in a sharing mood. She turned to him, her expression unreadable. We don't ask him. We ask the people who made him. Travis frowned. You want to go above Vincent? That's exactly what I want to do. His fingers tapped against his knee. Hey, we don't even know who those people are. She pulled out her phone and slid it across the seat. Travis glanced down. His pulse kicked up. A list. Names. Locations. Offshore accounts. Travis looked up. Where the hell did you get this? Taylor shrugged. I've been busy. That was an understatement. The second they got back from Utah, she'd started digging, calling in favors, accessing files that weren't supposed to be accessible. And it paid off, because now, she had their playbook. Travis ran a hand down his face. This is insane. Taylor's voice was steady. So was letting them control us. He exhaled. All right. Say we go after the people behind Vincent. Then what? We blackmail them. Expose them. Taylor shook her head. No. We make them turn on each other. Travis raised an eyebrow. And how the hell do we do that? A small smirk curled at the edge of her lips. We make them think Vincent is already working with us. Silence. Then, Travis laughed. That's reckless as hell. She tilted her head. You love it. He smirked. I didn't say that. But she was right. Underscore. An hour later, they were parked outside a different restaurant. Not high-end. Not fancy. A hole-in-the-wall bar in Brooklyn. The kind of place where people talk too much when they thought no one was listening. Inside, a man sat alone at the bar, nursing a whiskey. Mid-50s, gray suit, tired eyes. Taylor slid into the seat next to him. Long night? She asked casually. The man barely glanced at her. They're all long nights. Travis took the seat on the other side. Maybe we can make yours easier. Now the man looked. Taylor placed her phone on the bar, screen facing up. A message already typed out, ready to send. One click, and every name on her list would get a single text. Vincent Carter has turned. He's been working with TaylorSwift and Travis Kelce. The man's face paled. Taylor leaned in, voice smooth. You recognize that list, don't you? He swallowed hard. You have no idea what you're doing. Travis grinned. That's the fun part. The man's hands clenched into fists. If you send that message, you'll start something you can't stop. Taylor didn't blink. We're already in it. The only question is whether Vincent goes down alone, or if you go with him. Silence stretched between them. Then the man exhaled, rubbing his temple. What do you want? Taylor smiled. Names. Chapter 8. The last move. The moment the message went out, the clock started ticking. Taylor and Travis weren't just in the game anymore. They were running it. David Calloway, the so-called strategist they cornered in Brooklyn, had caved faster than expected. Turns out, loyalty didn't mean much when your own people thought you flipped. By the time they left Brooklyn, the dominoes were already falling. Taylor sat in the passenger seat, phone lighting up with notifications she was never supposed to see. Encrypted group chats imploding, calls going unanswered, deals that were meant to stay in the shadows dragged into the light. Travis gripped the wheel. How long do we have before they figure out we're bluffing? Taylor stared at the screen. Not long. Travis pressed harder on the gas. Underscore, 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 underscore. By the time they pulled up to Vincent's penthouse, the unraveling had already started. The lobby was too quiet. The security guys who always flanked the entrance? Gone. Taylor and Travis exchanged a look. Then they stepped inside. The elevator ride was silent. Tense. Taylor's pulse pounded in her ears, but her expression stayed cool. Vincent didn't get to see her sweat. When the door slid open, he was already waiting. Standing in the middle of his massive, glass-walled living room, drink in hand. The city stretched behind him like a kingdom he thought he still owned. His smirk was gone. So, Vincent said, swirling the whiskey in his glass. That was cute. Taylor stepped forward. Seemed effective. Vincent exhaled through his nose. You really think making my people doubt me is enough? Travis crossed his arms. Looked like it worked pretty damn well. Vincent set his drink down. For now. Taylor's fingers twitched at her side. For long enough. Vincent studied her, then sighed, shaking his head. You know what your problem is? Travis smirked. We keep winning. Vincent didn't laugh. You think this is a game, that you can just shake the board and walk away. But here's the truth, kids, people like me don't lose. We adapt. We rebuild. And when the dust settles, we decide who stays standing. Silence. Taylor tilted her head. And what if there's nothing left to rebuild? Vincent blinked. A second too slow. Taylor smiled, then reached for her phone. One tap. The massive flat screen behind Vincent flickered to life. He turned and froze. The security feed. From this very penthouse. Time-stamped. Verified. Showing exactly what kind of business he ran from the top floor of this building. Travis watched as Vincent's shoulders tensed, his whole world closing in around him. You were right, Taylor said. People like you adapt. But only if there's a way out. Vincent's fists clenched. You don't have the reach to pull this off. Taylor shrugged. I don't need to. The internet does that for me. Realization hit him all at once. It was already out. A leak so wide, so loud, that it couldn't be buried. Vincent moved fast, grabbing his phone, dialing a number. Straight to voicemail. Tried another. Same result. Taylor stepped closer. Your people aren't picking up, are they? Vincent's jaw locked. Travis smiled. Guess they're adapting. For the first time since they met him, Vincent looked afraid. Taylor leaned in, voice barely above a whisper. Game over. Vincent stared at her, then at Travis, then at the screen still playing behind them. He exhaled, sat down, poured himself another drink. Travis tilted his head. That's it. Vincent lifted his glass. What else is there? Taylor and Travis exchanged a glance, then turned for the door. As they stepped into the elevator, Vincent's voice echoed behind them. You two are going to get bored without me. Taylor smirked. We'll manage. The door slid shut, and for the first time in weeks, it was over. They thought they could control us. They were dead wrong. They played the game. They broke the rules. And in the end, Taylor and Travis didn't just walk away. They burned the whole system to the ground. Vincent thought he was untouchable. Now he's the one running. His empire? Gone. His allies? Turned against him. The people who thought they could pull the strings? Scrambling to clean up the mess. But here's the real question. If Taylor and Travis could take down someone like Vincent, who's next? Because one thing's for sure, they're not done playing. Want more stories that keep you on edge, make you question everything, and leave you hungry for more? Hit subscribe. Smash that like button. Turn on notifications. Because trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.